Welcome back to part 2 of our video tutorial where we are creating a website for Volleyball Australia. As you can see, our website at the moment is looking pretty ugly still. We have got the HTML all coded. We just haven't done the CSS or the styling to the website yet to make it look good. So that's what we're going to do in this video. So to get started, I want you to pop over to brackets again and make sure you've got all of your web pages open that you created in the first part of this tutorial. Once you've got them all open, I just want you to go to File and New. And what we're going to make up here is our style sheet. So go to File and Save As before you start typing anything. Go into your account, into the folder where we are saving all of our web pages. And I want you to make something called style.css. Okay, that's our style sheet. Once you've got that saved, we're ready to start making our website look good. So the first thing we need to do is give ourselves a background color. Okay, so I'm going to do that by writing the HTML tag first, opening up some curly braces, and I'm just going to write in the word background and choose a color for it. I'm going to choose a dark blue, and the code for that is hashtag 003A6C with a semicolon at the end. I'm going to save that. Now if I go and preview my page, you'll notice that no background color has appeared on my page, and that's because I haven't linked my web pages up to that style sheet yet. So what I need to do is go back to my index page, and up in the head section at the top here, just below the title, what we're going to do is just write in the word link inside pointy brackets, write the word rel equals, and we're going to write style sheet in quotation marks, of course. After that, we're just going to put the link to our style sheet, so you write href equals and just choose style.css. You can close your pointy brackets up now, and that code will link this page up to the style sheet. So any styling we do on our style sheet will now be applied to the index page. So I'll save the index page and go and preview it, and you can see the dark blue color has appeared as my background. If I was to go and look at some of the other pages though, they aren't linked to the style sheet yet, so they've still got that white background. So what I need you to do is copy and paste that one line of code into every other one of your web pages, and make sure you save those web pages as you go. So Control C to copy, Control V to paste, and Control S to save. Alright, so we've now got each page linked up, and each page is going to have that dark blue background. So that's the start of our style sheet. Looking good. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is style up our body section. So right in the body tag, open up your curly braces. First thing I want to do is change my font. We usually change the font family to a sans serif font, which is easier to read on the screens. We also change the font size to 1EM, which is the normal size for a screen. We put in a bit of line spacing, which we call line height, so we set it to 1.5 EM, and then we change the background color of our body to white. That's so we can see all the text again. Alright, so I'm going to save that and go and preview maybe the index page now. And you can see we've still got that blue background hidden behind everything there, but we've also got this white one on top of it now, so we can see our black text again. You'll also notice that our font has changed to a sans serif font. It's got a bit of line spacing now, so it's a little bit easier to read. Okay, so our page is starting to look a bit better. Let's keep rolling in our CSS sheet though. Next thing I'm going to do, at the top of the page, I've got a header, and there is some white writing in that header that you can't see at the moment. Okay, so if I put a darker color behind this header, with the header on top of it still, I think we'll be able to see things a lot nicer. Okay, so I'm going to put in a header tag now, and all I'm going to do is change the background color of that header. Again, it's going to be a bluish kind of color, darkish blue, and I've got the code for it. It's going to be a bit different to the one we used before, so it's hashtag 175 D9A. Put a semicolon, save it up, and now you can see that header. You can see this white writing and the logo that was there the whole time, just couldn't see it because of the color. So that's looking good. Every page should have that, so we'll just try a contact page maybe and have a look. Yeah, so the header's looking good now across each page. Next thing we're going to do, back into our style sheet, is style up the article section. Okay, this is the main part of our page with all the writing in it. Basically, I want to push it away from the edge of the page. If you can see here, the word contact is right against the edge of that white box. I just want to push it across to the right a bit, so it's got a little bit of room to breathe. So the way we do that is do some padding. So we put in the padding left. I'm going to choose 10 pixels. And if you look on the other side, I'll just save that quickly, maybe on the men's page. You'll see the writing is hugging that right hand side of the page as well. So we want to give it a little bit of space as well. The left side looks better with that 10 pixels of space now, so it's not hugging the edge of the page. We'll do the same for the right hand side. So all you need to do is change the padding right to 10 pixels as well. That's our article section styled up. Okay, so just keep saving as you go. Next thing I'm going to do is style up our H2 header. Okay, if you forget, H2 header is this header that runs along here. We just want to put that in the center of the page. So that's a simple one. Open your curly brace up. Just do the text dash align center. Put a semicolon to finish it off. Save that one and give it a test run. Okay, let's put it in the center. Looks good. And the next thing I want to style up is on, I think it's on the beach page actually. Yeah, it's this picture. I want it to float over the right hand side of the page here. Okay. At the moment that picture's inside a section tag. If we just scroll down, you'll see the section tag here. Okay, so what we're going to do in the style sheet is put, not a style tag, a section tag we need to put in. Open up our curly braces, and we're going to float it to the right hand side of the page. That will just move it to the right side of the page. We're also going to put a bit of padding on the left side of it so the text doesn't run into that picture. We'll put about 25 pixels of padding, so that way it keeps its distance from the text. So if we save that up now, you can see we've got this little space of padding on the left hand side, and the picture's moved over to the right, and the text just runs around it. Okay, so that's looking quite good. So you can see it doesn't take too long to style up our page once you know the formatting required. Next thing I'm going to get centered is one of the pictures on, not that page, it will be on the men's and women's pages. This picture here, I want to get that centered in the middle of the page. So the first thing I'm going to do on the men's page is I'm going to have to go down and give it a class name. So I need to find where that picture is. There it is here, so the image tag's here. Basically, I'm just going to put in a paragraph and write P class equals, I'm just going to make up a name, I'll put pick, don't forget to put it in quotation marks, and just close your pointy brackets. Take out the closing P tag and just put it at the end of that line. Okay, so we've got a new paragraph that has the class name of pick, and then we've got our image. Now what we're going to do is style up that image. So we're simply going to go back to our style tag here, and we put the full stop and then write the word pick, so dot pick. Open up our curly braces, and it's the same as what we did before to center the text. We just do text align center. That should center our picture as well. So if I save that up, have a look, we've now got a centered picture. The issue being, if I look at the women's page, it's not centered yet because I haven't given that picture a class name. So on the women's page, here's our image. We just need to do the same thing we did with the men, so we put in a new paragraph and give it the class name. So P class equals, and we call it pick. Close the pointy brackets and remove the closing P tag and put it at the end of the line. So it's all inside one paragraph. If I save that and have a preview now, you can see that that picture is centered. Pretty sure that was the only two pictures we needed centered. I think Volleyball was in a section tag, so we can worry about that one in a moment. I think that should be looking pretty good. Alright, so moving on. We're up to this menu. Okay, now the menu is a bit of work. Okay, I might start on the index page up here. Okay, and we're going to go down to our nav bar. Okay, this is going to take a bit of work to get right, so I'll just get my notes out. I need them to help me through this section. First thing we want to style up is the unordered list. Okay, so that's easy enough. So I'll go back to our style sheet here, and we'll put in our UL tag and open up the curly brackets. First thing I'm going to do is put a background color behind our menu. Okay, and that background is another lightish kind of blue, so I'm going to do hashtag 3480C1 and then a semicolon. Save that and have a look. You can see we've got this lightish kind of blue going behind our menu bar now. It's also coming behind this unordered list down here, which we're going to fix later on, but for now we're just looking at the menu bar. Alright, some other things we want to do to this menu bar. I think first up is get rid of the bullet points. So what we're going to do is write in list-style-type and choose none. If we save that and have a look, you'll see that the bullet points from our list go missing. Alright. Then I'm going to write in overflow, write the word hidden. We save that and have a look. Doesn't make any difference, but trust me, it will later on down the track. I'm also going to set the margin to 0 and the padding to 0. And when I save that, you'll see it pushes it back over to the left hand side of the page. Okay, so good start on our menu. It's still going though. That's the unordered list section though, completed. Next thing I'm going to do is just pop back to brackets, and I'm going to do our list item tag next, so the LI tags. If I just go back to the index, you'll see that we've got these list items that need to be styled up. Okay, so individually styling up the list items. Basically what we're going to do here is make a horizontal menu bar. So instead of having them run vertically down the page, like so, we want them to run in a straight line horizontally. So the way we do that is just simply float our text there to the left. Put a semicolon, save it, and now we've got that one-line menu bar. Okay, it's very clumped together, so I'm going to work on that padding and spacing in a sec, but that's at least got our menu bar looking a bit more like a menu bar. Alright, so the next bit is getting into this drop down menu and making it work. Okay, so it's going to be a little bit confusing, but we'll give it a crack. So we'll jump off the style sheet and go back to our index page. Okay, once we get this all written on the index page, we can copy and paste it pretty quickly over to these other pages. So once we do it once, it's fairly straightforward from there. So find your navbar section here. Okay, once you've found your navbar section, look in the unordered list section. We don't need to touch that. What we do need to touch is in the list item bits. We need to link these pages up to their appropriate page. So that's fairly straightforward to start with. We just do a normal ahref link and link it to the appropriate page. Remember to move the closing A tag and put it after the word home. Okay, so we've got a hyperlink. When we click on the word home, it's going to send us to index.html. Okay, fairly simple. I'm just going to do a bit of a copy and paste job here. I'm going to copy that first line of ahref equals, and I'm going to put it before teams, volleyball, and contact. Okay, after them, I'm just going to copy that closing A tag and put it in after the word teams, after the word volleyfest, after the word contact. Now we just need to change the hyperlink on each of these. Now remember, we don't have a Teams page, so what we do for this one is put a hashtag instead of a file name. That basically has a hyperlink there, but when we click on it, nothing's going to happen. Instead, we're going to have the drop down box or drop down menu appear when we do click on that Teams button. We'll do that in just a sec. We'll just link these other pages up quickly. We do have a volleyfest page, so instead of writing index.html, link it up to the volleyfest page, and contact page, link it to the contact page. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. The bit that gets confusing is this section. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just space it out a bit, so we've got the teams just separated from the other menu items for the moment. If I save that and just show you how that's looking, you can see here that we've got these links, and we're able to click on these and it will take us to the appropriate page. Right, so back in brackets, what we want to do now is style up this drop down menu and get it working. Okay, this is where it gets a bit tricky. So what we're going to do first of all is going to go and delete the list items, or the list item tags from the teams here. Okay, what we're actually going to do is go to the line above the word teams, and we're going to add in the list items there. Okay, inside that list item tag, the opening one, I want you to give it a class name. So it'll be li class equals, and in quotation marks we're just going to call it drop down. This is where our drop down menu is going to appear. Now this closing list item tag, just cut it out and paste it below the link. Okay, something like that at the moment. It's going to nudge that hyperlink across here. Alright, so on the next line we've got ahref equals hashtag. Remember, we don't have a page for teams to link off to, so that's why I put a hashtag there. And what I'm going to do is put a class name in. Okay, so class equals, and we're going to call it drop btn. That means this is our drop button, or it's going to have our drop down menu occur underneath this button. Okay, at the end of that line, where that link finishes, I'm just going to press enter, and we're going to tab across one more time. We're going to put a div class in, so put in the divider section. This class name, it's going to be drop down dash content. So this is the content that's going in our drop down menu, or basically the 3 pages we want in our drop down menu. Alright, so the 3 pages we've got are men's, women's and beach, and basically all we need to do now is link them up with a normal link tag. So ahref equals, simply click men's, close your pointy brackets, and inside the 2 A tags there we need to write men's. Okay, so there's men's and there's the link for it. Pretty simple. We're going to do the same thing for the women's. So write women's.html as the hyperlink, close your pointy brackets and just write women's, so that text is hyperlinked up on the page. And the final one, ahref equals beach.html, close your pointy brackets, write the word beach, and we've now got our little drop down menu working. Alright, so that section there, as confusing as it sounds at the moment with those different class names, we've got 3 of them there. Basically that is our little drop down menu. So if I save that and have a look at it, you can see it's pretty ugly at the moment, but you've got one line here with our normal menu, and below the word teams we've got our 3 sub options here. Just a matter of styling it up now to make it look good. So from here what we can do, let's do a bit of a copy and paste job. So everything inside the unordered list in our menu bar here, so basically all the list items, we're going to copy. So highlight them all, press Ctrl C or go up to edit and copy, and we're going to pop across to our men's page, and where we've got these list items, just delete them and paste in the new stuff over the top. Save it up once you're done, and do that for each page. Okay, we're just going through and deleting these list items, pasting in the new ones, and saving the page. Okay, so that's it. Once those are in, it's a matter of styling up the menu bar now in our style sheet to make it look good. So at the bottom of the page here, I'm just going to make some more space, and I'm going to add in a new tag that says we're going to style up our list item again, but this time we're going to style the A tag, which is our hyperlinks. Okay. Not only do we want to style up our hyperlinks, but I'm going to put a comma, and I'm going to put dot drop button. Okay, we're also going to style up the team button as well in the exact same formatting. So we can style up 2 things in one hit just by putting a comma between them. Alright, so what we want to do is, first of all, change the colour of the text. It's an easy one, to white. When I save that in preview, you'll see that our text now has become white in our menu bar. After we change the colour of our text, I'm going to change the display. And what I'm going to choose is inline block. It's going to make it look a bit more like a menu bar. So if I save that and have a look, actually it's broken them up into little blocks. Probably doesn't make it look too much like a menu bar just yet. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is put some padding in. This might actually help. Okay, so I'm going to write 14 pixel, and then in space, and write 16 pixel. Put a semicolon, save it. That's better. So now we've got a bit of padding around the sides. It's 14 pixel around the sides and 16 pixel on the top and bottom. Okay, so looking better. We'll get rid of the underline from those links by just removing the text decoration. So set your text dash decoration to none. See the underline's gone missing now, which is good. And finally we're just going to text align and choose center. That will just center the text in each of those little boxes. So that's looking pretty good for the minute. Okay, still not looking 100% like a menu bar, but we're getting there. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is make our hover effect, or basically when we roll over the top of these buttons, the color is going to change. So what we're going to do is write in LI again for our list items, and the A tag for our hyperlink. This time I'm going to do a colon and hover. Okay. We want the same hover effect for our drop down menu as well, so all we need to do there is write dot drop down and then colon hover. Okay, so we're styling up two things in the same hit. First of all, the links, or the normal buttons, hover effect, and then the drop down menu as well. We're going to do their hover effect. So open up your curly braces. All we're going to do is change the background color. So I'm just going to do hashtag and just choose a lightish blue, so it's 5F9 and CD0 semicolon. If we save that now, let's give it a test run. There we go. You can see that our menu bar is starting to change color as we hover over these. Okay, looking good. This isn't hidden yet, and it's still not a vertical menu, so we've got to do that in just a sec now. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is style up the class drop down content. So we just do a full stop and write drop down dash content. Open up our curly brace, and what we're going to do is we're going to hide the drop down menu first. So we're just going to set the display to none. That hides our drop down menu. So now we've got a pretty good looking 4-page menu there. Next thing I might do is put another background color in, so just do the same color as what we did before. I think it was 549 CD0. So that gives our drop down menu the same background color as our normal menu. Okay. After that we'll put the min width. So the minimum width of these buttons inside our drop down content is going to be 160 pixels. We'll save that and just have a quick look. I probably won't see anything yet because I don't think the menu is dropping down yet. No, it's not yet, so I've just got to keep working through for the minute. What I'm going to do is put a shadow behind our drop down menus. And the way we do that is write in a box dash shadow. Okay, then we specify what sides are going to have a shadow. So I'm going to do 0 pixel, 8 pixel, 16 pixels, 0 pixel, and I'm going to set the transparency. So you do that by red, green, blue, and the alpha channel. So we make the colors 0, 0, 0. So no color for the first three things. Leave it 0.2 to set the transparency or the alpha level. So it's only 20% visible. I'll put a semicolon at the end of that. And I'll just save that for the minute. You're not going to actually see anything yet because that's still not dropping down. So why don't we get that dropping down, and then you'll be able to see all these effects take place. So the first thing you need to do, just change the position to absolute. And then outside of these curly braces, we just need to add in one more thing. So we'll just put in dot drop down colon hover. I'm just going to do a space and do dot drop down dash content. Okay, and in the curly braces we're just going to display it as a block. That's going to allow for our drop down menu to actually appear on our page. So I'm going to save that and test it now. You can see that we've got our little drop down menu, and it's a very faint shadow behind it. You can just see it coming across the white part of the background there. Now I want this to appear as a vertical list, not a horizontal list, so we're going to have to fix that in just a moment as well. So there's a few little bits and bobs we want to do here. How is the rollover effect looking? So there's no rollover effect on that either, so I want these to change colour as we roll over them as well. Okay, so there's still a little bit of work to go. So first thing, to make it a vertical list, not a horizontal one, what we're going to do is we're going to write in dot drop down dash content and do a colon hover. Open up our curly braces, and we're just going to change the background color. So just write background colon hashtag 3480C1 semicolon. Save that. Test it if you like, and you can see now we've got that rollover effect or hover effect as we hover over these buttons, which looks good. Okay, back to our code. We're going to try and get it into a vertical list now. So we're just going to go to dot drop down dash content and a at the end of that. And we're going to open up our curly braces. We're simply going to write display, set it to block, and text align, set to left. That's all that goes in that one. Save that, test it, and we should have a vertical menu now. Okay, so it's starting to come together quite nicely now. I think we've got that working. I'll just try clicking on men's. Yeah, that looks good. Click on women's, and click on beach. Okay, they're working nicely. We've just got these bullet points in the beach page and the home page that don't look too flush at the minute. So we're going to need to style those guys up. Okay, so what we're going to have to do is make a new class name. So back on our index page, so we've got this unordered list down here. We're going to have to give that unordered list a class name. So the UL class equals, I'm just going to make up the word bullets. Okay. I'm going to go and do the same for the beach page, where we've got our unordered list further down the page. It's got Olympic Games and World Champs and all that stuff. Just give it the same class name, so class name equals bullets. So now we're going to style up this bullets section. Pretty easy to do. Right at the bottom here, I'm just going to write UL, which stands for unordered list. Oops. And we're going to put a dot, and the class name is bullets. So what we're going to do, first of all, if you have a look at this, it's got a blue background. Same on the home page. So we're just going to have to change the background colour back to white. Easy enough. You can see when we save it, the white comes back, but the bullet points are still missing. So let's give it a list -style -type. And what we're going to choose is the disk option. That just makes our rounded bullet points appear. And we just want to put in a bit of padding on the left. Set it to about 40 pixels. And a bit of padding on the bottom as well. I'll set it to about 10 pixels. And then I'm just going to close that section off, save it, and have a preview. And you can see my bullet points are back on the home page. And if I go back and look at the beach page, see the bullet points are back, but there's a slight issue here. And for the life of me, I don't know what's causing that. Okay, as far as I can see, my code's right, but I'm sure there is something wrong. So what I'm going to do is go back to that beach page and just cheat a little bit. Here's my unordered list here. Basically all I want to do is put a line break in at the start of each of these. So I'm just going to put a BR tag and close it off, and I'm just going to copy and paste that. And that makes sure that each of these bullet points appears on a new line. If I save that and test it, you can see the bullet points appear on individual lines now. Now that's not the most professional way to go about it. I'm sure there is a fix to my problem, but I'm not sure what it is, and that looks fine for now, so let's just roll with that. Okay, back to the style sheet now. We're nearly done. Just think of the contact page, this Google map. Okay, it's in a bit of a weird spot at the moment. I would like it on the right hand side of my page with the text all going up the left hand side of the page. So let's style this Google map up. Okay, we know it comes inside the iframe tag, so in the style sheet I'm just going to go right to the bottom here and write iframe. Open up my curly brace, and I'm just going to float that map on the right hand side of the page. I'm also going to give it a little bit of padding at the top. Not much, just 5 pixels. And I'm going to turn the border to 0 so it hasn't got a border around it. If we save that and have a look now, you can see a little bit of padding at the top, and it's on the right side of the page with the text going around it, which looks good. You also might have noticed just then the footer at the bottom of the page looks quite ugly and out of place, so let's style it up, and I think we might be done. So back in your style sheet, let's write in the footer tag. First of all, let's drop the font size, make it a little bit smaller, so I'll put 0.75 EM. Don't forget your semicolon at the end. We'll change the font style to italics. That'll just give it a bit of a slant. We'll push that text across into the center of the page, so text align will equal center. We'll change the background color of that footer to be the same color as our header, so that's hashtag 175D9A. And finally, we want the text to be white, so let's change the color to white. Alright, So that is our footer section there, all tidied off. We'll save that, have a preview. You can see now our footer looks nice at the bottom there, centered and a bit smaller. So let's go through this now and make sure everything's working. Got our home page looking good. Got our Teams page here. When we click on Teams, nothing happens, but when we click on Men's, it should go to the Men's page. When we click on Women's, it will go to our Women's page. When we click on Beach, it goes to our Beach page. That's great. Volleyfest, pretty straightforward. This picture isn't working how I want it, so I'll fix that in just a sec. And I think the contact page, just from before, we've got an email link, we've got a couple of telephone links, Google Map, yeah, everything's good. So it's just this Volleyfest page now. So let's go back to our code and have a look at this Volleyfest page. Where's our image? Here it is here. I think we just need to put it in its own little section tag and we should have our problem solved. Okay, so basically made a section tag and have the image inside of it. And that's going to put our image on the right hand side of the page. Fingers crossed. Yep, it's looking pretty good. I think there's a little bit more text I added in to make this fit nicely. So let's just add another line of text somewhere in there. Just say volunteers at these events will be rewarded with a special thank you pack. Just that extra line of text is going to make that picture fit in nicely. Okay, there's my extra line of text I added in, so if your Word document doesn't have that, make sure you add it in now. So now I think we're done. Okay, that's a pretty decent looking website, but the main thing I want you to take out of this is this drop down menu. I just want to show you how to get that done, and also on the contact page the telephone links. I know it was a long tutorial just to show you how those things work, but now you know. Okay, so I'm going to stop the video there and I'll see you in the next tutorial.